6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Hassan Gilani. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says Pakistan is committed to work with the Commonwealth for shared interest, particularly on youth empowerment, good governance and climate change. Deputy Prime Minister has lauded role of Special Investment Facilitation Council in bringing direct investment to the country. Pakistan and Ethiopia have agreed to further strengthen bilateral relations and explore new collaboration in diverse fields. Foreign Office says UN report on centuries of Fitna al-Khawarij in Afghanistan endorses Pakistan's stance against terrorist groups. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, occupation troops in their unabated acts of state terrorism martyred 20 Kashmiris during last month. The UN Secretary Council has called for stepped-up diplomatic efforts to avert a wider Middle East conflict. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has reaffirmed government's desire to work with the Commonwealth on issues of common interest, particularly on youth empowerment, good governance and climate change. He was talking to Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister said providing modern education and technical training to the youth is one of the government's highest priorities. He highlighted the various initiatives taken by the Prime Minister's youth program. He reiterated the government's commitment to working with the Commonwealth to help Pakistan youth by enhancing access and opportunities for them in today's high-tech global economy. Shehbaz Sharif also appreciated the Commonwealth's consistent support for Pakistan's socio-economic and democratic institutions. The Secretary General appreciated the Prime Minister's youth program and said his direct supervision of this program is reflective of his commitment to youth empowerment initiatives. Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland has commended the resilience demonstrated by Pakistani nation in the wake of 2022 floods. Addressing an event in Islamabad today, she said Pakistan has a diverse landscape and rich cultural history and heritage, but it is vulnerable to climate change. She said climate change is the greatest challenge of our time, emphasizing it transcends borders and affects every nation. She said our young people are the most directly exposed to its impacts. The Commonwealth Secretary General emphasized the need for employing technological advancements, including artificial intelligence, to deal with the challenges like climate change. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Muhammad Ishaq Dar says Pakistan has huge potential to join G20 countries through structural reforms in the country's economy. He was addressing the groundbreaking ceremony of the head office building of Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. Ishaq Dar said that after the new integrated stock exchange, Pakistan Stock Exchange achieved the status of the first most efficient stock exchange of South Asia and fifth in the world. Deputy Prime Minister said bilateral trade, structural reforms and foreign direct investment are top priorities of the government. Ishaq Dar said that during our government in 2017, Pakistan's economic indicators portrayed good by the international rating agencies as we have record foreign exchange reserves. Pakistan and Ethiopia have agreed to further strengthen bilateral relations and explore new collaboration in trade, finance and education field. The agreement was reached during a meeting between Ambassador of Ethiopia to Pakistan, Jamal Bakir Abdullah, and Minister for Finance Mohammad Aurangzeb in Islamabad today. The Finance Minister provided an overview of the economic reforms currently underway in Pakistan. He highlighted the recent positive developments, including improvements in foreign exchange reserves, reforms in state-owned enterprises, and advancements in the power sector. The Finance Minister said the country's economic outlook has improved and now government aims at achieving economic sustainability. He said international rating agencies have started acknowledging the economic stability as a result of the government's economic decisions. Foreign Office says the latest UN Security Council report endorses Pakistan's view that Afghanistan has hideouts and sanctuaries for terrorist groups, including Fitna al-Khawarij. At her weekly news briefing in Islamabad today, Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch said the report contains the view that Fitna al-Khawarij transform into an extra-regional threat as well as umbrella organization of other terror groups. The spokesperson said the UN report points out that Fitna al-Khawarij operatives and its new recruits are being trained in Afghanistan. Mumtaz Zahra Baloch urged an interim government to take immediate, effective and robust action against the terrorist groups, including Fitna al-Khawarij. She said the Afghan side should ensure that their land is not used for terrorist activities inside Pakistan. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ataullah Tarar has said the process of privatization of the power distribution companies has been started after amendment in the State-Owned Enterprises Act. Addressing a news conference along with MQM leader Mustafa Kamal in Islamabad today, he pointed out that inefficiency and corruption in discos span over 2 decades. He said it has been decided to bring competent and professional people from private sector to run the discos. The Information Minister said the Prime Minister announced a 50 billion rupees subsidy on the electricity bills of consumers using up to 200 units. He said the government has taken steps to check overbilling and power pilferage. The Consumer Price Index-based inflation decelerated to 11.1% during the last month as compared to 12.6% recorded during June this year. According to data released by Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, the CPI-based inflation during the same month of last year was recorded at 28.3%. This is Radio Pakistan. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, occupation troops in their unabated acts of state terrorism martyred 20 Kashmiris during the last month. According to a report released by Research Section of Kashmir Media Service, the victims include 6 youth martyred in fake encounters or in custody. The troops continued their reign of terror, arresting 216 civilians, mostly Hurriyat leaders, activists and lawyers under black laws. Meanwhile, Hurriyat leaders have once again appealed the Kashmiri people to observe August 5 as Yom-e-Istihsal to mark the 5th anniversary of India's decision to abrogate Article 370, which had granted special status to occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The United Nations Security Council members condemning the assassination of Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran have called for stepped-up diplomatic efforts to avert wider Middle East conflict. Meeting of the 15-member council was convened in New York at the request of Iran and supported by Russia, Algeria and China. Iranian Ambassador Amir Saeed Irani urged that the Security Council to take immediate steps to hold Israel accountable for this act of aggression. Deputy Permanent Observer of Palestine to the UN, Fida Abdul Hadi, said Israel's war in Gaza has gravely breached all tenets of international law and flagrantly violated the UN Charter. The National Disaster Management Authority has issued an alert of urban flooding and flash flooding due to ongoing torrential rains in different parts of the country during current month. Monsoon currents from Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal are likely to penetrate in upper part and then in central and southern parts of the country from tomorrow. Under influence of this system, rain and thunder shower is expected in most parts of the country. The NDMA has advised provincial PDMAs and other relevant departments to remain vigilant to respond to any emergent situation. Additionally, citizens are also advised to take precautionary measures such as staying away from electric poles and weak infrastructure and refraining from driving or walking in waterways. The NDMA has also launched the Park NDMA Disaster Alert application available on Google Play Store and iOS App Store to provide timely alerts and guidelines to the public. Finally, the weather. Rain, windstorm and thunder shower is expected in Kashmir, Islamabad, Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and northeast Balochistan during next 12 hours. Heavy falls may also occur at scattered places in upper Punjab and upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa during the period. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.